Hey everybody, it's Trixie. Welcome to the underground. Merry Swiftmas. I got my little Taylor Swiftmas shirt on. I thought I'd wear it. I think this is going to be the last show of the year. I don't think I'm doing one. I'm on vacation next week. So I think I might, unless something happens, which you never know. But for now, it's all about the playoffs. But it's fresh in my mind. So let me just talk about why do you keep putting the Commanders on to torture me? Do you want to torture me? So now Marcus Mariota is hurt, and I don't know what happened, but they were looking at him like he had a concussion, but he really was limping, so I don't even know what that meant. He was out of the game. They put in the third string, like we're not bad enough, Josh Johnson, who couldn't really take the ball, couldn't throw the ball, and he was fumbling. He couldn't move. I was like, really? I can understand why you guys drafted him. Great job. On the other hand, well, let me just finish the game. They were competitive up until that point, and then, the Eagles got all their, like, I'm going to run over you. We're going to go for the 2-point conversion. Well, maybe because their kicker sucks, but, I think the Commanders got sick of it, and I'll tell you, punches were thrown, and I probably would have thrown some too if I was in there. It's kind of like, when the Eagles go down, we'll remember this because the Commanders are going to jump all over them. They ain't going to be great forever. So it's basically egos, and the Commanders were good for a while until they had that crappy quarterback in. Let's talk about the Packers and the Bears because that was such an insane game, and of course, it's playoffs soon, so people are gonna try to hurt people. So Jordan Love had a concussion. I saw the hit; it was right on his helmet. Gone. You think they're done? Malik Willis came in, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" I mean, he came from the Titans. I don't know. I didn't know him, but he played probably better than Jordan Love played. And they were ahead, but then the Bears came storming back. I'll tell you, that's what they're, last year it was the Cardiac Commanders that kept coming back. Now it's the Bears. And I think, I said this before, I think that's my pick for the NFC. And I think, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but their defense is fierce. And Caleb, man, whoa, he's a leader. You can tell he's got his confidence back. Ben Johnson coming in and doing a great job, but they won in overtime. He just threw the bomb and it caught in the end zone, and that was over. But really, an exciting game. If you can watch it on demand or whatever, get it. It's amazing. So, all right, let's go. Here we go. I'm sorry, I'm on coffee. So Fox News is the Grinch. This Christmas, they're telling you not to buy for people that are old, like old as in 18 plus. And they're like, Grandma doesn't need a gift. Can you imagine me telling my mother, sorry, Ma, no Christmas gifts for you. You're too old for it. You're too old for Christmas. So these people are the Grinchiest people on the planet. How about no gifts for you? Who the hell wants to get stuffed on Christmas? I mean, I don't really care because I buy what I want for myself. But I don't be telling me what to get and what money to spend. Why? Because you're taking all our money? Because we're giving it to rich people only? Only they can celebrate Christmas. Love it. You're a mean one. Mr. Grinch, you nauseate me. I just think that's terrible. So they were telling people on Fox there's an AI $424 million data center to connect in Virginia, right? So it's in the way of the Christmas trees. The farms are in the way of it. And they're telling people, oh, yeah, we got to make way for this AI. All I keep thinking of is that damn robot in the stores when I'm working. And, like, people can't stand that thing. They're like, I can't stand it. It keeps going, woo, 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 woo. I'm used to it. I just try to ignore it. But most people are, annoyed by these things. And I'm not really worried about AI taking my job because that thing has no personality. Plus, I think it can see through my clothes. It's got eyes. I'm telling you, I bet you it can see. Well, not like it's going to see anything good, but who cares? Okay, so they were talking about Trump's economy, and they've obviously left without extending Obamacare subsidies, so my insurance will go up. But you know what? I feel bad. Not for me. I'm going to make it. For other people with families that have to choose between their mortgage and health care. Some people are dropping it that I've spoken to. So this is Trump on CNBC. Don't make it sound so bad. Yeah, that people are going to die. Don't make it sound bad. And it's too funny. In Politico, don't be so dramatic when they were asking him about I don't know. I'm too busy. I'm too busy building my 400. Now it's a $400 million ballroom. That's all he can talk about. Are you getting it yet, Trumpers? Are you getting it? Or are you going to wait till it really affects you with the? It's going to affect you in a couple weeks. So good luck to you. I wish you all the luck you deserve. And this is what you get. This is what we get for voting for this guy. So for Christmas this year, the American people have decided to give Trump coal in his stocking. His approval rating is the worst. I mean, Harry Enton was on CNN talking about this. He's like the poll guy. In every category, he's negative 6 points down in immigration, and that's supposed to be his strength. Yeah, we had a problem, and he got rid of a lot of immigrants. But it's the way he's snatching people off the streets, including citizens that we don't like. Foreign policy, 14 points in the hole. Trade, tariffs, 15 points. We don't want to pay for your damn tariffs. And we are. 16 points down on the economy. That should be more. I think that figure should be higher. And the big one is the Epstein case, 29 points. And that was released, but with a bunch of black magic markers. Like Trump's name wasn't mentioned anywhere. But we'll talk about Susie Wiles and her crazy stare. But she was saying he had an alcoholic's personality, which, it's in his family. He might, just because you don't drink doesn't mean you don't have the personality of one. But she said he's in it, but nothing bad, which I really didn't think so. I don't really look at him as a child molester. I look at him as like a pig, but not the same thing. So let's go. Forbes put out the world's most powerful women. She's on it. Number 21. The top 100, of course, she beat Oprah. Oprah's 30, Beyonce 33, Kim Kardashian, number 70, she's slipping, number 71. So the categories they chose: money, media, impact, and spheres of influence. She influences me. Okay, so let's talk about like football in general. Patrick Mahomes, torn ACL. Micah Parsons, what happened to him? I think he had a torn ACL too. Josh Allen threw up against the Patriots and then came back from 21 points down. I still think the Patriots are the best in the AFC. They're playing the Ravens tonight. I think they're going to kill them. And Denver, I think, is probably going to be the number one seed. It looks like nothing's going to stop them. Phillip Rivers at 44 he lost, but he threw his first touchdown. And I didn't know this, but his health care was expiring. Of course he's coming back for that. I mean, can you imagine? And millionaires having issues. So yeah, good luck with the rest of us. And of course, the depressing story is Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered in their own home in Brentwood and stabbed to death by their son, allegedly, Nick. Arrested, 2 counts of first-degree murder. I didn't know a lot about him. He looks like he's troubled, and he's an admitted drug addict. I forgot Penny Marshall was married to him. Remember? Schlemazel. Of course, Trump posted his condolences on Truth Social. He's passed away. This is a quote. Passed away due to the anger he caused others. What a great fella. Merry Christmas. Through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, of course. He called Rob Reiner deranged. Look at his smile. Look at Rob Reiner. Like, he looks like such a nice guy. So what? He likes gay people. So what? He's a nice guy. So what? He's a liberal. You got to hate people and talk about him like that because he spoke ill of Trump. I mean, that's all it's got to do with. If he spoke ill of someone else or maybe his enemies, Trump would like him. It's all got to do with that narcissist up in the White House. He called him very bad for our country and deranged. I mean, he makes it about himself, just like those damn plaques. We'll talk about that. That's what evil looks like. And the lovely Steve Bannon was speaking at an event for Charlie Kirk or something, and he looked like he just swallowed a bottle of vodka. And it was for a Turning Point USA event. And he was saying Charlie Kirk was a savior. And this is what he said about Rob Reiner. Quote, a handful of crappy movies. When Harry Met Sally? That's crappy. I never saw that movie, by the way. I loved Rob Reiner in The Wolf of Wall Street. I thought he was hysterical playing Leonardo DiCaprio's father. And they were talking about when he slept with the blonde. I forget her name, but whatever. And he said everything's shaved, everything's changed. Women shave down there. And he says, I never really liked the bush. And Rob Reiner says, I never minded the bush. Which I can relate to that. Like, you're used to it. You're old. You kind of saw the bush and you're okay. It's there. What's the big deal? And then Steve Bannon said, you quote, raised a kid that slit your throat or slit his throat. These people are so, I mean, this is what I remember Steve Bannon, like a long time ago, when they showed him watching animals in the wild kill each other and he was laughing. I mean, look, I get that's part of the chain, but like, I don't think I would laugh if I saw an animal killing and eating another animal. It just shows you're kind of twisted morally. Okay, so my sister Bones, she said she's glad she's got a daughter, my terrorist niece. And she says because sons murder their parents, like Amityville. She used to work in that Amityville horror prison, the Amityville killer Ronnie DeFeo was in upstate New York. And it's like, yes, I think of the Menendez brothers too. It's true. Like, here, Joshy, here's your PlayStation so you won't murder me. Is this how it is? Like, you have to like worry that your son's going to grow up to kill you? I don't understand. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now engaged to be married. He's like a real pro-Trumper. So, but she's still like, she's like, oh, he's classless, talking about Trump, what he said about Rob Reiner and beneath the office of the president. Listen, I'm giving her credit. Okay. I'm giving her credit. Did she change? Well, she's showing and I give people the chance to change. Everybody can change, She said the dam is breaking. The ice is gonna break. Do you remember that? And Christopher Walken in the Dead Zone. I'm sorry, I just go off in movies. What do you want me to say? She said the Republicans will not win the midterms. Yeah, no kidding. Unless they come back in January and extend the subsidies, I'm going to count on that. Meanwhile, I'll go to my employer's insurance, even though it's more. It's not. I got to go cancel my other one, the Health Connector. It's going to be over $800. I'm picking my mortgage to pay over the insurance. I can't afford that. Where am I going to come up with? I'm too old to be a hooker. Can't do it. So Nick Reiner hired Alan Jackson as his defense attorney. Does that name ring a bell? He got Karen Reed off. So this ought to be a circus. One thing, though, I didn't know is he was schizophrenic. So they just, I think, according to sources, I read this on NBC, they just changed his meds. So he could get him off on, guilty by reason of insanity. I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty bad. But I know they were saying that Conan O'Brien had a holiday party and he was acting weird, interrupting conversations and all that. But I think that, if you're schizophrenic and, you got they're going to blame the doctors. I can just see this now. They're starting to blame doctors with everything. Okay, let's get to the Susie. I'm just trying to do her eyes. Between her and Kash Patel with the crazy eyes. But she's supposedly the normal one. So she gave that series of 11 interviews with Vanity Fair talking about, okay, so they took pictures of, did you see like Stephen Miller and all of them? It looked like the Legion of Doom. It was frightening. She said she was the daughter of an alcoholic dad, so she recognized the symptoms. Trump has an alcoholic's personality, and Trump said, I could have been an alcoholic if I drank. I like those rare moments of honesty that he does, because his brother, who was probably gay, I think he was gay, he drank himself to death, so that's why he's against drugs and all that. But they called it a hit piece. She called Vance a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and he was voted most likely to have sex with a couch in high school. But she defended Bill Clinton, saying about the Epstein files, there's no incriminating evidence against him. They do have pictures of him. They were released, and he was with him and laughing, and, I don't know what to say. But she said that Trump was wrong about implicating Clinton on that. And Trump answers she's fantastic about Susie Wiles. So good. At least somebody can speak the truth and not get in trouble or fired for it. In the West Wing colonnade, there were plaques of ex-presidents now inscribed by Trump with insulting descriptions, of his predecessor. Let's see. He wrote most of them by himself, and it's clear. So let's go through it. Sleepy Joe Biden, he says, this is a quote, was by far the worst president in American history. And like when we have a Democratic president, we will put your face above that caption. Quote, Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that broke our nation or brought our nation to the brink of destruction. He's talking about himself, really. It reminds me of Planet of the Apes, the remake. When, remember at the end when Mark Wahlberg escapes in the little capsule and he goes back to Washington, D.C. and he walks up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and he sees General Thade's face? Well, that's what this reminds me of, is Trump with General Thade's face. He already changed the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center. It's Planet of the Apes. We've hit that, okay? So I'm sure that next he's going to be sitting right on Abe Lincoln's lap on the memorial. Then he wrote about Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, the first black president, a community organizer. True. One-term senator from Illinois. True. One of the most divisive political figures in American history. He did not bring the nation together because they didn't want a black president. A lot of people didn't. So that part is true. It's not the nicest thing to write, I'll tell you that. He did bring Obamacare. He brought health care to 44 million people who didn't have it. So that's his legacy that he's trying to destroy. So, yeah, he wrote about the Russian hoax. Oh, his brain. Then he wrote under Bill Clinton. Everything was like he added himself in it. Under Bill Clinton, he wrote President Clinton's wife. So he talked about Hillary because he's obsessed with her. Hillary lost the presidency to President Donald Trump. Planet of the Apes. Anthony Gary, Luke Spencer died. But Luke and Laura kind of glamorized rape a little bit with that Herb Alpert song. I mean, he loved her, but he raped her on the disco floor. So, I tried to tell my mother that Anthony Gary was gay for a long time, and she didn't believe me. She doesn't believe me when people, like men that she likes, are gay. So, he was living in, I think the Netherlands or Amsterdam, somewhere around there with his husband. He had some surgical procedure and then died. Okay. Listen to this one. In medical news today, people who eat cheese regularly, me on a daily basis, are at a reduced risk of developing dementia. All right. Thank God something good that I do is going to lower the risk. It says in a new study in Japan, take that, vegans. Take that. Thank God. They studied 7,914 people. So 134 people who ate the cheese got the dementia after 3 years compared to 176 who developed it, who didn't eat cheese. Okay, good. I mean, crazy. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, real quick. I'm rambling. Boze had a speed dating party. Ladies were all wearing black, like it was a funeral. So, like they just buried their 80-year-old husbands. One omission, there were no females for Kyle to date. So that's a problem. I would be upset if I went to a party. Where's the chicks? Where are the white women at? Remember that in Blazing Saddles? Where the white women at? I can see why some of the guys were still single. Sutton's love interest asked her if she was sexually dominant or submissive. Yeah, that's something you ask a woman in the first 5 minutes. That's a big red flag. Can I tie you up to the bedpost? Dorit was the hit of the party. She's good at small talk, and she's good at talking, period. She never stops. The men loved her. She is very pretty, and she dresses nice. She didn't know where she lived, which is strange. Like, she didn't know whether, and I'm like this too, you don't know which direction your house is in. They're like, do you live on the east side or the west side? And you can see her trying to, I don't know where I live. Erica is like me, absolutely no game whatsoever. Doesn't know how to do small talk and socially awkward, which is me. She got the lawyer of the group, like her ex, Tom Girardi. Kyle got the real estate agent, like her ex, Mauricio. Hysterical. I mean, do we fall for the same person over and over in every relationship? Kyle admitted she's really looking for a life partner. You know, when she says that, it could be man or woman. And when people talk like that, you say, I want to be married to a man. I guess I would say that if I were straight. And to me, dating's a waste anyway. But she admitted she fell in love, but now she's on her own. Maybe till the season's done. Maybe then Morgan will go back to her. She said she thinks gender doesn't matter, that it's about the connection and your soul. To me, I couldn't probably fall in love with a guy. Not physically. Not where I want him on top of me sweating. Okay. After her divorce, she thought she'd be alone. I guess everybody feels like that. I feel like that sometimes. I'm 60. Like, when's it going to... Speaking of which, an 18-year-old flirted with me at work yesterday. He was a doll. He was 18. Listen, I'm going to cherish that because you know what? How often will that happen in my life again? Never. How can an 18? He was adorable, and he had his head on straight. Like I want to get rich so I can take care of my parents, so they never have to work again. What a good kid. I said, nobody's like you. No, there's no 18-year-olds like that. Excuse me, sorry. She found someone she had a lot in common with, Morgan, laughed with. I mean, it was exciting. It's always exciting in the beginning till they turn crazy. I think she was worried how she'd be perceived, though, if she was with a woman. I mean, I get that when you're straight your whole life. By Mauricio, she said that by her friends. This is normal. By your family, but her family came out in support of her. By the public, I really think that's normal. And you do lose friends. I've lost friends over it. Who cares? I don't care. Okay, can I do one more? No, I'm done. People probably are gone with their ADHD, and I was going to talk about ADHD. Published in Psychological Medicine, a study with 200 adults with ADHD. That's me. 200 without. They started 200 with 80, like me, and 200 without. They looked at how strong they were with creativity. See, this makes sense because that's my strong point. But I cannot finish a book. I went going on this book, and look at this much is left. I couldn't finish it. Something's wrong with me. I can't finish relationships, nothing. I make the other person miserable, so they leave. Okay, they looked at how strong they were. Spontaneity, hyper-focus. I'm focused in my job, for sure. People with ADHD made good use of their strengths. This is it. I know I'm limited. But, no college degree, but I'm still doing well. I'm the top of my company for marketing. You know what you're good at. You know what you excel at, and you go for it. Play to your strengths, not your weaknesses. That's normal. That's normal. So I don't finish anything. So what? I can live with it. People who use their strengths have better mental health. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm all right. Less depression. No, I don't have less stress. Sometimes I get stressed, especially around the freaking holidays. So one more thing. I know I'm going off. ScienceDaily.com. New study shows some plant-based diets may raise your heart disease risk. This is great for me. Plus they taste like shit. Tell this to your vegan friends. I've got a couple. That's the National Research Institute and with Agriculture, Food and Environment. Love it. They track 63,000 adults with high quality and low quality processed plant foods. So if it's high processed plant foods, don't eat it. Low process, I think you're okay. So the low process reduce the cardiovascular risk. When they use the ultra process, then boom. There's no advantage. Your risk increased by 40%. You're better off eating a steak. So, okay, guys, Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year, unless there's some kind of big life event or something's going, or I had sex. I won't see you next week. Have a great holiday season and don't be stressed out. Love you. Talk to you in 2026.